Hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing alright. It's hard to get my camera just right because the sun is starting to set and I don't know how much good light I have. But it's my last update was Monday of this week, which was April the 24th. And today is Thursday, April 27th. So it's been quite a few days. I didn't want to look so dreadful, although I do feel, I don't feel so great. I'm not sharp, but in none of these videos I have been. I talk really slow and lose my train of thought real easily. And like I said, I need a new battery for my camera. But I'm now putting these documented videos on my Facebook site and putting them public, because I decided it's time to I'm not documenting these for no reason, and I need to make awareness of what it's like to be on psych drugs and what it's like to try to get off or wing down, to cut back, which is what I'm doing. One is more long-term and extreme, although this one is as difficult, you know, depending on how long before you even start this process that you've been struggling and having so many difficulties. And like I've written on my videos, the effects of psychotic drugs long term on people with mental disorders is a epidemic in our society, all over the world. And I'm just one of probably 100,000, you know, I'm many that are dealing with similar issues about psychotic drugs long term. You know, they have to prescribe you when you're in such a state that your life, you know, is on the line. And the psychiatrist, in, you know, most cases for psychotic drugs, is a way to help a person to be able to lessen the effects of whatever problem you've been dealing with. And like I said, you know, there's temporary, which is brought on by experiences through a person's life, that they may need for a time to be on some kind of psychic medicine to help them until they get through, or a person who is born with a mental disorder, illness of many different kinds. There are so many disorders, and the more disorders you have, the more drugs you need for each one. And it is a challenge through your life, trying to make your life better by being on these drugs. And sometimes you have to go through the process of changing them to find one that works for you, or finding the right dosage of one. Now, if you were just on one, maybe that wouldn't be so bad, but when it multiplies into many different drugs, like myself, 6, and then anything else that you may have wrong with you physically, you know, adding on to that is really a bad place to be. Even if the pill you're taking for whatever you're physically going through is short term or long term, you know, you'll still go through, most people, and me especially, will go through some kind of withdrawals from that. But the more psych drugs you're on, the more difficult it becomes, because, you know, the interactions of so many drugs in the long term really take a toll on you and make you worse as you go. And trying to lower your doses or get off of just one pill is something that is extremely difficult to accomplish. It, like I said before, it can take years of your life if you're willing to go through that, because like me the other day, being depressed about what I was trying to do just wasn't working, and I've tried many different techniques of just getting off of my night medications, which are 3 that work together to help me sleep, because I have a sleeping disorder. And on top of the 2 pills, Seroquel, Remeron, which are not sleeping pills, but they're still psych drugs. I take Requip for restless leg because of the other 2. Anyway, so that's 3 pills that work in together to help you to sleep, and they do at that. But the problem, not that there isn't difficulties along the way, you know, from being on these drugs, and then often on different other medications for physical things. It really gets really rough. And like I said, being on psych drugs a long time not only starts causing your disorders to worsen, but all of these drugs, these poisons in your body, will start causing different health issues that you never had before. And one of mine, just one, is high blood pressure, which I've never had in my life. But I did not, for quite a few months, I refused and suffered with severe chest pains, severe migraines, which I deal with anyway, and just blood pressure that wouldn't stabilize. Always stayed very high, you know, for me, you know. People have different blood pressures, low or a little bit high. That's normal for them. But for me, you know, I was just, like I said, my psychiatrist was very, very concerned about me and told me that with what I'm experiencing and this just keeping, you know, continually going on, you know, I was a candidate for a stroke. So I gave in to the medication.